Right, well, I'm continuing my drawing over this Christmas period. And what I'm battling with at the moment is an issue of storage on my iPhone. So no matter how many apps and things I delete, my storage is always getting full. So I'm not quite sure what the problem is, but I know what I'm going to do about it. I'm going to, well, I have in fact bought a new phone with much more storage, but it's only going to arrive in the first week of January, so I'm not going to be able, I think, to post quite as frequently or quite as much as I would like, but the problem will be solved in the first week, and Katie has said she will step up and make some videos as well, so we should keep a reasonable presence going, I think, because it's been so enjoyable. And what I'm going to do also is just post a few more images up for not just the patrons, to see, but also you know, a casual browser can have a look at some of the still images. So I think this afternoon I'm going to post up some little blue monsters that I've been doodling. Just for anyone who sees them, and I'm very happy actually to send doodles to my new patrons. If you sign up and would like one, just let me know and I can pop one in the post. Of course, we're going to deal, as we all have to deal, with the Christmas post, which isn't great, so you might have a little bit of a wait, but I just really do enjoy popping these things in the post. The quiet of the studio and the gentle, insistent scratch of the dip pen. Very soothing on this rather grey Tuesday before Christmas. And I'll be talking to my kids via Zoom on Christmas Day, which will be a first, I think. But then there have been so many firsts, I think, in the last couple of years. I didn't know what Zoom was 2 years ago. I had only the very vaguest idea of what it was all about. I didn't really know what Patreon was about either, but I'm very rapidly deciding that it's my new favourite part of the social media universe. And also, when I get the chance and my phone allows me, I'm going to be showing you what is on my drawing board. And I'm doing something at the moment. It's one of the things I want to show you is my card game, which is all about wizards, which I'm in the process of developing. It's yet to go off to the printers, but all the artwork's done, so I'd like to show you that. And also a new sort of card game it's not really a card game, just a deck of cards that I'm working on, which I've just had so much fun doing, and I'd like to show and talk about that as well. It might be difficult to do that here in Norfolk, because of bandwidth and my dud phone. But as soon as I'm back in Brighton, which will be the first week of January, I'll post a few things up just so that we can catch up. So this figure is in the foreground. And when one's composing a sort of crowd scene, I suppose, like this, it's often part of the process to work out relative sizes of figures. It doesn't always matter. Sometimes, you can have a sort of Sergeant Pepper style approach where figures are different sizes and compositionally all over the place, and that's quite nice as well, that sort of scrapbook look. But this, I'm trying to keep sort of figures relative, in relative proportion to each other. So, obviously that's a large dragon looming in the background and a rather sinister cowled figure here. But she is in fact in front of these people, I think, in terms of perspective. So I was just making sure that there was a tiny bit of overlap, and of course these two we started with. And here we're going to have, let me see if my phone storage holds up for another few minutes, we can add another character in here. Slightly troglodytic, or possibly very troglodytic. And technically the other thing I want to do is, again when I get back to the first of a series of, I suppose, workshops where I want to take you through a process, and I will also post up pictures of that process as well with a bit more of an explanation. I'm just quite interested to see how that works, whether in fact I can speak any sort of sense at all whilst attempting to produce some artwork. I mean, when I'm drawing like this, I mean, it's just really sort of chatting about, I don't know, anything that comes into my head. But it'll be interesting to see whether I can manage something more coherent when it comes to describing maybe a process. And with so much, I think this sort of, I want to call it free drawing. There's no particular purpose to it. It just is a collection of drawing moments coming together in a composition. But then it is the holidays, as they say in America, and so this doesn't really count as work. This is me relaxing, enjoying the quiet of the afternoon. And just the other day, walking down to the lake, which is at the end of the lane, quite close to my house here in Norfolk, 3 beautiful swans flew low overhead. I mean, really quite low, like low flying jets. It was extraordinary, making this amazing sort of whomping sound with their wings as they beat their wings in unison. I mean, it was the most spectacular sight as they flew directly overhead and circled round, just looking extraordinarily sort of large, actually, and impressive. I don't know this character's business, But I'm going to give him a large club. Beware of trolls carrying large clubs. And there is an exciting project. It's very early days, but it just came through before Christmas, and I'll talk to the publishers in the new year. But there's a really nice project coming up. Drawing this troll is reminding me of it. And again, I will talk more about that when the plans are firmed up. But I'm going to relish, I think, this new project. I'm very gratified so far that I've got this far without my phone stopping. I'm going to give my troll some sort of rudimentary armour, I think. And when you're drawing characters like this, one of the great pleasures is sort of putting them in costume, figuring out what they're going to wear, old, battered. I do enjoy a bit of sort of distressed armour. There's one to crosshatch, which is what I'm doing here. Know why it's called crosshatch, apart from the fact that it's sort of, the lines cross each other. But it is one of my favourite things to do, very satisfying, a bit of crosshatching. And there are great masters of cross-hatching. I think John Tenniel certainly was, Gustave Doré, and I actually think the wonderful Ernest Shepard. There we have. My wife is just about to come into the studio. Here she comes. Today's drawing of a... Oh, she's leaving again. Today's drawing of a cave troll and dragon's companion. I think there's some sort of relationship going on between those two, and that's coming together in a rather satisfying way. I'm going to look forward to filling up this area and maybe something down here as the crowd begins to gather.